إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، عليه توكلنا إليه أنبنا إليه المصير. خصنا بخير كتاب أنزل وخير نبي أرسل وخير منهاج شرع، فقال عز من قائل: اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين، عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم. اللهم أحينا على سنته وأمتنا على ملته واحشرنا مع زمرته. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O you who believe, fear Allah as he should be feared and do not accept as Muslims. أما بعد، فإن خير الكلام كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل بدعة ضلالة. Truly the best of the words is the book of Allah, and the best of the guidance is the guidance of the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. And the worst of the matters are the false innovations in the religion, and any such thing is a misguidance. My brothers and sisters, in a hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah in Sahih Bukhari, a man came to the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام and he asked him, Ya Rasulullah, awsini, give me an advice. And the Prophet told him, La taghdab, do not get angry. And the man repeated the request, and the Prophet repeated the answer, La taghdab. And he repeated that 3 times, do not get angry. Now why would the Prophet, some of the scholars, they looked as to why the Prophet ﷺ gave that particular answer in particular, specifically to that person. First of all, it could be because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a murabbi, was a mentor. So he knew that this person needs that specific advice. Someone will come to him with the same question and he will give him a different answer. Someone came to him, Ya Rasulullah, give me one advice. And the Prophet told him, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. Say, Allah is my Lord, and hold on to the straight path. So this could be the reason. But another reason, which is more general, that the Prophet ﷺ, by limiting his advice to the word, do not get angry, as if the person can control his anger, he can control everything else. So this anger becomes, in a way, a measure. It becomes a yardstick, that if this is something that you can pass, then everything else will be possible. Because the Prophet ﷺ, as he indicated in another hadith, he said, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرَعَةِ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّدِيدَ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. That the strong person is not the person that can knock people down. He says the really strong person is the one that maintains his control when he's angry. So as such, this anger, or controlling this anger, becomes a measure of something much bigger. That this is something that if the person actually can pass, he can pass everything else. And this anger, subhanallah, sometimes it's in the nature of people. Sometimes certain people are almost like a time bomb. Whenever you get close to them, they will burst in your face. They're ready to explode at anybody's face. Just like patience sometimes is a quality that the person actually has. There's a hadith about Ashaj ibn Abd Qais. When he came to the Prophet ﷺ, he told him, the Prophet told him, إِنَّ فِيكَ خَصْلَتَانِ يُحِبُّهُمَ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. That you have 2 qualities that Allah and His Messenger love, الْحِلْمُ وَالْأَنَاءُ, patience and carefulness. He told him, Ya Rasulullah, are these 2 qualities that I acquired, or did Allah create them in me? And the Prophet told them, no, Allah created them in you. So the man says, then, I thank Allah that He created in me a quality that He loves. However, at the end of the day, we're all required to achieve certain standards, certain qualities. That's why, if the person does not have it, it doesn't mean that that's it, he will not have it. Sometimes, we have to work hard into acquiring them. That's why in a hadith, some believe it's to be mawquf to Abu Darda, that it is said that إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ وَالْحِلْمُ بِالتَّحَلُّمِ وَالْكَرَمُ بِالتَّكَرُّمِ وَمَنْ يَتَوَقَّ الْخَيْرَ وَمَنْ يَتَحَرَّى الْخَيْرَ يُعْطَى وَمَنْ يَتَوَقَّ الشَّرَّ يُوقَى. That patience is achieved by training yourself to be patient. So this is not something that you do not have, but you train yourself to acquire actually these things. So even if a person actually does not have it, it does not mean that it's something that is doomed, or that the person actually is doomed, that he has nothing to gain in that regard. But as the hadith indicated, that the person actually can acquire. And specifically that the Prophet ﷺ asked, that means this person actually and everybody else actually can acquire that. And of course, we have the greatest example in the Prophet ﷺ, how to be patient. How he was patient despite the fact that sometimes the limits were pushed with him ﷺ. A man came to him He says, Ya Muhammad, أعطني من مال الله الذي عندك لا من مال أبيك ولا من مال أمك. That give me some of the money that Allah has left with you. It is neither your father's money nor your mother's money. SubhanAllah, look at the rudeness. And he says, the hadith says that he pulled him from his collar until it left a mark on his blessed neck. And the Prophet smiled and he says, Inshallah, I will. SubhanAllah. And the Sahaba got very upset and very angry. And they were about to beat that person. The Prophet took him on the side and he gave him a lot. And the Prophet told him, are you satisfied now? And the man said, yes. And he praised the Prophet. And the Prophet told him, then go out and tell the people actually that I gave you this. Because I'm concerned that they will hold something against you. Now they're not going to hold anything against the Prophet ﷺ. They know him. But they will hold something against you. And he went out and he told them. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said to them, to the Sahaba that were about to beat that person, he says, your example and mine when dealing with that person is like somebody who had a camel that went astray. And the man is about, or or like a person who owns the camel is about to go get the camel, and everybody followed him to help him, but they only pushed the camel further and further away until the person was able to get it back. And he says, if I let you do what you are planning on doing, the man will get further and further and he will die on kufr. This is the patience of the Prophet ﷺ. Now this, by the way, it doesn't mean never getting angry, but getting angry for the right reason. That's why Al-Hasan al-Basri used to say, مَنْ اسْتُغْضِبَ وَلَمْ يَغْضَبْ فَهُوَ حِمَارٌ. أجلكم الله, you know. وَمَنْ اسْتُرْضِيَ وَلَمْ يَرْضَ فَهُوَ شَيْطَانٌ. He says, anyone who is pushed to get angry and he never gets angry, that's like a donkey, like a mule, insensitive. But yet, he says, anyone who is actually requested to calm down and he does not is like the shaitan. That's why you have to get angry, but for the proper reason, not for personal reason. And the Prophet ﷺ, who was so patient with his companions and with his family members, sometimes he did get angry, but for the proper reason. Whenever the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are overcome, he would be among his Sahaba and the call of a jahiliyyah starts to among them. The Muhajirin, there's a big story, but it says that the Muhajirin will call, Ya al-Muhajirin, and one of the Ansar will say, Ya al-Ansar. Each one is calling his own tribesmen. And the Prophet says, the call of al-Jahiliyyah when I'm still among you, he says, دَعُوهَا فَأَنَّهَا نَتِنَا. Leave it, it's a stinking cause. Do not call or refer back to the cause of al-Jahiliyyah. One day they were arguing, some of the Sahaba, back and forth using the verses from the Quran. One of them quoting one verse, the other quoting another verse. Just almost like an exercise of argument. And the Prophet got very upset and very angry. And he says, you're playing with the words of Allah when I'm still among you. That's what the Prophet ﷺ would get angry, but for the proper reason. And subhanAllah, sometimes this anger becomes almost like a rule. Like I said, certain people are difficult to approach. And the Prophet ﷺ said that the worst of the people, or among the worst of the people, are those that others avoid because of their bad temper or of their bad language. You don't want to be like that. The Prophet ﷺ was easily accessible. Actually, he was described by Anas ibn Malik. He said that whenever he's sitting with anybody, each person will think that he's the most important person for the Prophet. That means he's so easily accessible, ﷺ. But some people are difficult to approach. And this anger, by the way, it shows in certain extreme situations. For all of us. Like when the person is fasting, right? That's an extreme situation. Or when the person is driving. SubhanAllah, that's so common. Sometimes, we like the world to run according to our own rules. And nobody drives well except me, of course. I'm the only one that drives well. And this road race, subhanAllah, there's something magical about the steering wheel. When somebody sits behind it, he becomes a different person. Wallahi, watch your behavior. Wallahi, watch your behavior. And this is something you can train yourself on doing. That's why the traffic in Southern California can be an element of tarbiyah, an element of training, where you can train yourself to be patient, because you're not going to go any faster. You're there stuck, whether you get angry or not. That's why you might as well train yourself into acquiring these qualities. The Prophet ﷺ gave us certain guidelines as to how to deal with anger. In one of the ahadith narrated by Ahmad ﷺ, he said that bashiru, or he says, عَلِّمُوا وَيَسِّرُوا وَلَا تُعَسِّرُوا. That when you're teaching others, make things easy for them. Do not make it difficult on them. And he says, وَإِذَا غَضَبْتَ فَاسْكُتْ وَإِذَا غَضَبْتَ فَاسْكُتْ وَإِذَا غَضَبْتَ فَاسْكُتْ. That if you get angry, be quiet. Because subhanAllah, once you're angry, you don't know what you say. And when you say something, of course, it'll be out. You can't take it back. That's why the best recipe here when you get angry is do not talk. Because you never know what you'll be talking about. And another thing maybe related to that, if you're angry, don't make a decision. Sometimes, you know, a husband and a wife, divorce and things like that, out of anger. Because you're going to regret that. And at the time of anger, your balance is not accurate. Your judgment is not sound. That's why if you're angry, do not speak. And do not make any decision at that time. And the Prophet ﷺ says, if you're angry while you're standing up, then sit. He says, فَأَنْ ذَهَبَ عَنْهُ وَأَلَّا فَلْيَضْطَجِعْ. That if that actually dissipates your anger, it's good. If it does not, then lay down on the floor. You know, have you seen anyone laying on the floor and angry at the same time? That's a little difficult. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, by the way, it has some basis, by the way, even medically. That's why if you're angry, sit down. If it does not work, then lay down. And another thing to do is to make wudu, as the Prophet ﷺ also said. You know, make wudu. This will extinguish this fire within you. And pray 2 rak'ahs if you can. There's a story also, the Prophet was sitting among his companions, and 2 companions actually were arguing with one another. He says their faces red. One of them, his face is about to burst. Red, you know, very angry. And the Prophet said to his Sahaba, those that are sitting next to him, he says, I know one word. If he says it, it will dissipate his anger. If he says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Now one of those sitting next to the Prophet, I think it was Hudayfa ibn Yaman, he went to the man and he said to him, there's one word, if you say it, it will dissipate all of what you're feeling.